if Malema comes to Nigeria and he has to deal with Buhari, he will not survive 2 weeks in this country. Do you hear what Malema says every time? Do you know what he does to the president of South Africa? He will go to the parliament and call the president a thief, and nobody will arrest him because South Africans have fought for their freedom up to a point where you can't just take it away. Is it not the same thing I'm doing here? I call Buhari a thief. The next day, DSS is in front of my house. They are beating me. They are breaking my nose. The worst thing they do to Malema is they throw him out of the parliament, right? And then the next day, the guy is out. He even talks down on judges. Have you not seen some of his videos? Can you do that in Nigeria? You can't. But we do that here. If Malema were to be here, you will be calling him a coward because he would have gotten to the point where he can't get out of his house anymore. Even Bobby Wine in Uganda, they'll go to his house, the police will follow him around, they will prevent him from, but you rarely see them breaking his head or trying to kill him. They're not shooting people. Well, in Uganda, they were shooting and killing people, but not around Bobby Wine. But in my own case, have you heard that somebody killed Malema's brother in South Africa? They did not kill my own brother here. So you cannot compare the level of impunity in Nigeria with that of South Africa. No, not even Mandela. For the period, if you read his book, the period that he was in jail, they were having conversations with him. They were treating him nice at the point, his condition started improving. To the point at the point where even when he was in jail, they were driving him around at night to see South Africa. Who does that to me? They come to my events with knife, trying to kill me on a daily basis. I am not in any way saying that before now South Africa hasn't seen that. Of course, you know what that tribe in South Africa was doing to ANC, killing their members and all that. But over time, they have improved. Here, we don't have that luxury, at all. So when you bring Malema up, come to Nigeria and let's practice Malema. Let's go to the National Assembly and call the president thief and make it back home. You understand? Let's go to Nigerian National Assembly. Call Buhari a thief at the National Assembly and try to get home from there and see what happens to you. So don't let us make the comparisons that are not necessary. But even with all that, we have been able to mobilize people to a point where young people can stand up for themselves. Do you know why NSAS happened? It was because we mobilized for it. It was because people like us took the risk that is unusual. This position some of you are sitting on, Bolaji, I used to sit in that position in the US, where I just wonder why people are not more aggressive or they could do more things. You're talking about Black Lives Matter. All those things are sexy. But when it comes to practicality, when you come home, some of you cannot even survive the heat at the airport, just arriving and waiting for customer. You'll be sweating like we call Christmas goats. And then you have to deal with police. And you have to be shot at, and then you look around and say, maybe Sowore was behaving like Malema. I wish that I had South Africa as my country. I would be more popular than Malema. You will say, wow, who is this guy? Because what Malema have to do is just wake up in the morning, take a shower, get dressed up, and go and speak to large crowds of students, youth, and they will see him, they clap for him. He practically has his own TV station. They have an office, swanky office. If you put up Malema's office in this Abuja, wallahi, the next day, if they don't burn it down, call me a bastard. You can't even find a landlord who is willing to give you a house in Abuja to practice what Malema practices in South Africa. Beyond that, Malema gets a grant. His party, the EFF, go and check, gets a grant. Somebody was talking about grant earlier. For the South African government. If you're from South Africa, you would know this. They get an amount of money from the South African taxpayers as a political movement. You must give it, whether you hate what he says or not, you must give him that money. Who is going to give me money for abusing the government here? So, and with all the things that Malema is doing, you go and look at what the media is doing to him in South Africa. They accuse him of all kinds of things. They go and check into his what's it called, garbage bags. They check what he's smoking, what he's drinking, and all that. All the scrutinies are there. So all countries have their own challenges. Mr. Bless, you asked me how do you intend to unite Nigerians? Justice, justice, justice. I hate the word unity, because they use it to blackmail people. It's like a section of the country says, and as long as you use the word unity, they are fine with you. But you can't forcefully unite people if you don't give them what they deserve as citizens of the country. You can't have a country where some people are second class citizens, some are first class citizens, And I used to be a little bit, unconvinced about some of these behaviors until I was detained. And people will come and beat their chest in front of you that this country belongs to us. How dare you challenge Buhari? Who are you? You understand? We're going to kill you here. We die here. And they followed up by going to federal high court to abduct me in front of the judge. The judge ran away. You all saw it because they believe the country belongs to them. But it's not peculiar to the Fulanis alone. They just did it under Jonathan. Then everybody shut up. The Yorubas were doing it under Obasanjo. Unity is not something that's just going to exist or come out of, the woods. It has to come from a respectable place for citizens. And that is what I need to tell you. I'm never going to discuss unity as a basis for governance because it's not even one of the hierarchy of needs for citizens. It's just a blackmail word. It's a blackmail buzzword. And how are you going to unite? How do you unite people with hunger and starvation? How do you unite them with killings, abductions? How do you unite them with oppression? It's not going to work. You can't even unite a house with those kind of practices.